Live.
Prelims Mains start.
Good morning, all. This was the cutoff an year ago. Okay, and 2026, the cutoff will be on the similar lines. So the brightest minds in the country, who are out of IITs, IIMs, and a lot of other premier institutions, they are struggling to score 75.41. Why? What has changed with regard to the examination? That is what we will discuss in today's session. And my name is Pradeep. I'm from Bengaluru. And apologies for starting the class very late. So the bus got late and a lot of other hiccups. I'm very sorry for that. So let's get started straight away. And in this session, I'll tell you why you need to understand the change in the theme of this examination. So what should be your priority areas? How you should realign your preparation. So whatever was the traditional approach to the present day demands, the way you need to approach the subject, the way you need to revise, way you need to solve the test, it all has to be changed. Okay, so whatever you have learned, it's fine. Now you need to improvise on the foundation. You need to build the superstructures. So we'll discuss on this regard. Okay, so now firstly, see, till 2021-22, in 2019, there was a slight change in the pattern. The way UPSC used to ask the question, slightly they changed it. But the fundamentals of the paper were not completely changed. However, 2023 onwards, there has been a rapid evolution with regard to the nature of the questions, the way the question has been framed. And like if you look at 2023 paper and all, before 23, there were some elimination tricks and all, which you could easily apply. Okay. So for example, if there is any extreme statements, only, all, none, it is usually wrong. So those kind of things were there. And even with regard to the options, UPSC used to give 2 and 3 only, 3 only. So even if you take out the common, 3 common all the statements, so 3 is by default right. So you have to check whether statement 1 or 2 is right. Like that, there used to be a lot of clues within the options the UPSC used to give. So even if you had no clue about one option or one statement, let's say UPSC will give the statement like this. there was 3 statement question, 1, 2, 3, and UPSC will give statement like this. Now, by default, what you can assume? Statement 3 is right before 23, not anymore. Understood? So, there has been significant changes in the way the questions has been asked. And also, not only this, earlier, let's say UPSC used to take a topic. Let's say there was a Maternity Benefits Act, 2019 it was asked, Maternity Benefits Act. So, the first statement was about who will implement the act. Second statement was about the provisions. Third statement was about the beneficiaries. So, one act, you need to go in depth. One question about one act, different features of it. But now it has changed. UPSC is trying to include 2 or 3 different acts, 2 or 3 different schemes into one question. For example, in 2026 prelims, there was one question. Statement 1 was from Eka movement, modern Indian history. Eka movement, Uttar Pradesh, Eastern UP, Hardoi, that region. Statement 2 was about Bardoli Satyagraha from Gujarat. So, they are linking two different elements from different timelines into one question. There is only one similarity between them. Both of them were peasant agitations. Understood? So, if you just study Bardoli or if you just study Eka and if you don't know the interlinkages between them, then you might not be able to answer the question completely. Okay? So, earlier there was a different pattern with regard to the nature of the questions. So, just a minute. No, not this one. I need to go back to the slides. So, sorry, like I'm new to this. So, we use a different software. Okay. So, let's get started. I'll show you the examples so that you can also have a very fair idea about what is being asked, what is the fundamental changes, everything. See, like 2011, there was one question on minority status. Here, the statement 1 was about the constitution recognizes 2 types of minorities. So, one is linguistic minority, another one is religious minority. The term minority is defined in the constitution. No, it is not defined. Statement 3, the benefits that you get if you are recognized as minority, article 29 and 30. So, whether you are linguistic minority or religious minority, you can establish the educational institutions. So, about minority status, let's think minority is a topic. About minority status, there were 3 questions, 3 statements. About one simple theme, 3 different statements. So, they were going deeper into one concept. They are not trying to link different concepts into one question. So, that is one thing. And 2023, see, they are asking about Prisons Act. How prisons are managed? See, usually prisons is under the state subject. Prisons is under the state list. So, they are checking whether you know this concept in depth. Prison only, one single topic, but they are expecting you to know the center state interlinkage here. The center state interlinkage. So, what is the purview or what is the control of center over the prisons? Understood? Because there has been a lot of central laws. Even if you violate the central laws, you will be jailed. So, in that case, which jail you will go? Is it about the jail that is managed by the center or is it about the jail that is managed by the state? So, one single law, it was asked. And also, there is one question about the hydropower, pumped storage. They had asked one question in 2024 about the pumped storage. So, it was taken, see, it is an application of science and technology. And there were, if you remember, there was Ratle and Kishan Ganga scheme. across the river, across the tributaries of Indus. So there, do you know what the method that was used? Pakistan used to object it. This is a violation of Indus River Water Treaty. So do you know what the method was used by India there? Pumped storage. So Kishan Ganga and Radley hydroelectric projects. So there they had mentioned about pumped storage. So that was tested here. And again, they went deeper into that. So it is both international relations related. See, what they did was, they took the context from the current affairs. Ratle, Kishan Ganga, these are the like projects that India has undertaken on various tributaries of Indus River. So between India and Pakistan, there is Indus Water Treaty 1960. So there, when Pakistan went to the international courts, India told, see, this is not the violation. We are not extracting the water, rather whatever water that is flowing, we are not obstructing the flow of water, we are not constructing any dam. So we are using pumped storage. So like that. And this method also has got environmental implications. So international relations, the context was taken. The question is related to geography and geography as well as science and technology, and it has got the environmental implications. See how many things integrated into one simple question. This has been the new nature of questions of UPSC. And see, earlier, as I told you, linear things. One topic they used to pick, they used to dig deeper into that topic. Now, one topic they will pick and various interlinkages of that, they are trying to ask that. So, I'll give you few examples, I'll give you few more examples, how things can be asked, okay. So, I'll give you one topic, I want you to write what are the linkages of that across different subjects. Now, okay, write down MSP, minimum support price, minimum support price. So, what is the implication of MSP across polity, environment, science and technology, etc. So, it is primarily related to agriculture, MSP. So, who will decide the MSP? CSEP, central government, they will decide the MSP. So, if they increase the MSP, there will be two implications. MSP will be the base price. So, any procurement has to happen over and above minimum support price. So, if the MSP is increased, let's say earlier the price was 80 rupees. Now, let's say through MSP government increased it to 100 rupees for rice. So, any procurement of rice has to happen from 100 rupees and above. So, this will lead to inflation. So, MSP of rice is increased. Let's say. So, in that case, see, imagine earlier you were cultivating wheat. Wheat is still at 80 rupees. Rice increased to 100 rupees. So, what you will try to do? Many farmers will try to cultivate the rice only instead of wheat. So, this can also lead to a kind of monocropping. And rice, it is usually cultivated where? In the areas where there is fertile alluvial soil, very near to rivers, because rice is water consuming crop. So, let's say there are states like Punjab, UP, which has plenty of perennial rivers, they will cultivate rice. What about the dry states like Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, etc.? Areas that are away from the river. So will those farmers get the incentive of it? No. Understood? And even in these areas, let's say MSP is increased for rice. So in Telangana also farmers want to cultivate rice. What they can do? They can dig the pump well. They can extract the water. So this will have the environmental implication. And if any hard metals come out of it, let's say if there is uranium or any hard metals come out along with the water, if that is used to irrigate, so obviously those hard metals will enter into the food chain. So this will lead to health issues. Correct now? See, now you might have heard about microplastic pollution. Microplastic pollution. Cattle in the footpaths, what they will do? They will consume the plastic. So through the milk, it will enter into our food chain. Understood? So it will get amplified. Understood? So that is how any topic you take, you need to have what is the implication of it on different themes or different subjects. Here, see, MSP is nothing but it is a polity part, but it will have the implication on agriculture, economy, okay, environment and health. Okay, shall we take one more simple topic? Okay, please write down another topic, delimitation of constituencies. You all know it is very much in news. Delimitation of constituencies. Delimitation is about which article? '82. Very good. Delimitation. You all know it is something political. Something political. And delimitation will be majorly based on population. So it will impact what? The resource distribution through finance commission to the states. So it has also got a economic implication, because allocation of shares to the state, it will also depend on the population, the size, everything. Understood? So that is one thing. And also the representation of states in the parliament. So that is going to have the center state relationship. The federalism is at question here. So it starts with one thing but also implicates a lot of other aspects of life. Okay, shall we take one more simple topic? Okay, so please write down National Semiconductor Mission. National Semiconductor Mission, currently very much in trend. Few days ago, Prime Minister inaugurated one unit. Yeah. So think about the economic, political, geopolitical aspect of it. See, there is something called as CHIPS Act, enacted by USA, because they did not want their semiconductor companies to give the chips to China. CHIPS Act was enacted. That created geopolitical tensions between USA and China, because China, it has kind of monopoly over the raw material that is required to produce the chips, and USA has got the technology. They have got the global giants with regard to the chip manufacturing, and these chips, it has dual use. It can be used for civilian purposes, it can be used for military purposes. They have dual use. Therefore, there was a geopolitical war, and India was very much lagging behind with regard to these chips. Therefore, there was a recent push to the manufacturing of these chips. So this will create a lot of employment opportunities. That will decrease the imports of India, and it will also enhance the strategic autonomy. We need not depend on USA, or we need not depend on China. Understood? In case of tensions, they might stop the supply of chips to India. So we need to achieve self-reliance or Atmanirbhar. So you have heard about this term Atmanirbhar, no? Now, can you link it to modern Indian history? Which particular movement? Swadeshi movement. There it was not exactly Atmanirbhar, it was about Atma Shakti. Atma Shakti. So Atma Shakti was focusing on Which particular aspect? What particular manufacturing? Clothes, textiles. Why textiles? Why textiles? Yes. See, for that, you need to understand things in a thematic way. See, if you understand things in bits and pieces, no, then you might forget it. Now, why I'm talking about these things are because, see, when you think in bits and pieces, you will not be able to get the answer for the questions that I am going to show you. Now look at this. This is 2024 question. You can answer it very easily. You can answer it very easily. But this is connecting two aspects. See, Venezuela was in news because of the civil unrest and all. Okay? And see, earlier, see, this was the evolutionary stage of the new trend of questions. This was the evolutionary stage. Okay? So now, this has become the major aspect. They are giving two statements, asking you to consider the interlinkages between them. Earlier, what they used to ask? Same two statements, but they used to ask only one correct, only two correct, both of them are correct, neither of them are correct. Now what they are asking? You need to know the interrelationship between them. If you just know one is correct, two is correct, it's not enough. You need to know how one is related to two. Understood? So, this will require the broader analysis. Understood? Let me help you how to develop this broader analysis. I'll show you one more question. See here, there was one adjective, and adjective things even today it will apply. Whenever UPSC is giving an adjective like rapid, sudden, so see UPSC usually uses it to convince you about something. Understood? Whenever they are using these adjectives, you should be very cautious because these adjectives are used to convince you. And UPSC, if it is trying to convince you about something, if it is trying to make you believe in something, maybe they are setting a trap for you. Understood? So, exponential, sudden, okay, rapid. So, if these kinds of adjectives are used, then you need to be very cautious. Be cautious about the adjectives. Any statement, adjectives, be cautious. These adjectives, it will work even in 2026 prelims also. These adjectives, this trick is not completely eliminated. And why I am suggesting you all these things is because, see, Shiva Teja sir told me that the state exam notifications are also out, state PCS. So, what I have seen in your state PCS as well as my state, Karnataka state PCS, is that state PCS, they try to follow the pattern given by UPSC. They try to follow the trend. So, if they try to follow the trend that was set by UPSC in 2026 prelims, the recent most prelims, or even in 2025, then you should not be caught by surprise. You should be ready. So, that readiness will come during the preparation. So, while you are preparing for 2027 or your state PCS examination, the first thing which I suggest you to do is sit with the question papers of 2025, 2026. And in those question papers, do these analysis. The first thing is that do the subject and topic wise mapping. Subject and topic wise mapping. Okay. So, this, some websites, some materials, it might be available readily, but don't depend on whatever is available ready-made. So, do it yourself. Understood? Read every question. And while doing this, with regard to every subject, polity, economy, geography, history, environment, science and technology, while you are doing this, see broadly, whatever is the nature of the questions, you need to organize that. Like 2 statements, 3 statements, match the following. And in match the following nowadays, they are giving 3-column match the following. 3-column match the following. Understood? And then multi-statements, more than 3. And then statements and assertions. So, just try to have a map of these things. And don't write just the number of questions, 2 statement, 2 questions, not that. So, 2 statement questions. 1 question on, let's say, DPSP. Another question on which topic? Write that. Write that. Okay? And not only this. This is step 1. This is step 2. And you need to do the step 3. Step 3 is find out the wrong statements. Focus exclusively on the wrong statements. Exclusively on the wrong statements. And try to understand why it was wrong. Why it was wrong. Understood? So, is it due to adjectives? Is it due to the facts that was given? Is it due to any other aspects? What UPSC will do if they are giving 2 statements? So, what they will do? The first part of the statement, they will keep it same. The second part of the statement, they will exchange it. First part will be the same. Second part, they will exchange it. I will show you the examples. So, let's say for example, statement 1, they will say Swadeshi movement. Statement 1 will be about, let's say, statement 2 will be about, let's say, Home Rule League. Home Rule League. So, they'll say, during Home Rule League, during Swadeshi movement, Swaraj was demanded. That was demanded during HRL. During HRL, they will say they demanded the abolition of partition of Bengal. They demanded the annulment of partition of Bengal. So, first part it will remain the same, but second part they have exchanged. So, UPSC will do this. So, you need to find this. Why any particular set of statements or one statement is wrong? What went wrong? What made it wrong? That is one very important thing. So, these are 3 different steps of analysis which you need to do with regard to especially 3 years paper. 3 years question paper, do this. Okay? So, this will give you a very broad idea about what they are trying to ask, where they are trying to set the trap. See, now, the amount of time and amount of energy, both are limited only. But there are unlimited things to study. Understood? And 100 questions will try to cover around 300, 400 topics. So, we might not be an expert with regard to all 300, 400 topics. So, what we can do, the first thing, we need to understand where UPSC will set a trap for us. So that even when we don't know certain concepts, then we can use these observations to eliminate certain statements. For example, there, let's say you have never heard about Venezuela, but if you know rapid rise, see how any country can achieve a rapid rise? How any country can achieve it? Is it so easy to achieve a rapid rise? No, a lot of things has to fall in place to achieve the rapid rise. Understood? So, you all know many Latin American countries like Colombia, Venezuela, Bolivia, they are all suffering from internal conflicts. So, for a country to achieve the rapid rise, there has to be political stability in the neighborhood, there has to be economic reforms, there has to be a lot of foreign investments, there has to be a strong government, a lot of factors has to fall in place, or else cannot achieve. So, but if you just have heard about the unrest in Latin America, then it is easy for you. Even if you don't know it exactly, if you just look at a word rapidly, exponentially, so those adjectives, you can get it wrong. I'll show you certain questions where UPSC purposefully, they have given the wrong facts. They have given the wrong facts just to fool you, just to trick you. Understood? So, like that, you need to understand where they will set a trap for you. So, you have to do this analysis with regard to PYQs. This is the PYQ analysis, 3 important steps. And with regard to, you will give a lot of mock test, and without giving mock test, you are not supposed to enter into the examination hall. Make it a rule. And you need to solve at least 10,000 questions. You need to solve at least 10,000 questions, including PYQs, let's say. Okay? So, after every test, you need to do the post-test analysis. See, as I've already told you, time and energy is limited. Understood? But within the limited time, you cannot learn so many things. Our understanding, our depth, it is all limited. We don't know everything. Like a subject expert, we have not done masters in environment, economy, polity at the same time. We have studied for competitive examination. We have attended good number of classes. We might be having good over lot of basic stuff. But examiner sometimes will demand the expertise. So in such situations, we might not possess some very important bit of knowledge. In that case, what to do? So you have to experiment it, not directly in the examination hall. You have to experiment it while taking the mock test. See, mock test will help you to be the refined version of yourself by the time you enter into the examination hall. And without that refinement, lot of impurities within you. See, what is the difference between 22 karat gold and 24 karat gold? 22, there will be more impurities. 24 is less impurities. Understood? So, this journey, the mock test, is all about reaching from 22 to 24 karat. So, before you enter into the examination hall, you should be this 24 karat. So, how to reach that? How to reach that? See, there are two ways to increase the score in preliminary examination. 2 ways. First thing, you need to expand your knowledge. You need to know everything in depth. Understood? But given the limited time, limited energy, can you do that? Can you be a master of everything? It is impossible. It is impossible. Second thing, there is another way of increasing your score. First thing is expanding my knowledge, and there are certain limitations of that approach. And second thing is by reducing. Second thing is by reducing your mistakes. See, if your accuracy increases, obviously your marks will increase, no? Understood? Am I right or wrong? So, how to increase your score? There are 2 ways. One, increase your knowledge. Second one, decrease your mistakes. So, this will lead to better accuracy, lower penalties, and even if you attend 60-65 questions, you can comfortably clear prelims. So, how to achieve this? So, we'll focus on this aspect. We'll go forward. I'll teach you different types of things. What is the different improvement that is made by UPSC? I'll give you the observations. Understood? Because while preparing the topics itself, you need to develop this sense. First thing, that PYQ analysis will give you a lot of inputs. Second thing, I'll tell you a lot of things, and while studying, while preparing, let's say you are reading Lakshmikant, and Lakshmikant in itself is not enough. Now UPSC has proved that Lakshmikant is not the Bible of polity anymore. You need 2 other books along with Lakshmikant. One is Our Constitution by Subhash Kashyap. Another one is Constitution of India by P.M. Bakshi, which has bare acts. Understood? If you just read the fundamentals of physical geography, it is not enough. You need to read G.C. Leong. UPSC is telling that. Understood? You need not read Majid Hussain, n number of books and all. At least the basic books, you need to be well versed. And shortcuts will not help you. That is what UPSC is trying to convey to you. And just having the surface level knowledge about current affairs is also not enough. Any current affairs, you need to be able to connect it to the syllabus, the basics in the syllabus. Understood? So that is what they are asking, and we'll focus on this part. We'll focus on this part. And this experiment, you need to do it mock test. Experimented during the mock test. So what kind of experiment it is? It is very simple exercise where you answer the mocks, and once you are done answering the mocks, you need to start with step 1. This is called as post-test analysis. Step 1. Step 1 is very simple. Very simple. You need to prepare a chart. Where you need to have three different columns. So how many questions you were sure? How many of it went right? How many of it went wrong? Secondly, 50-50. So you were able to eliminate certain options, but you were stuck with 2 options. You tried to mark something, and some of it went right, some of it went wrong. Similarly, you tried to take a guess. Some of your guess went right, some of your guess went wrong. So now, this is what you need to do. Count the number of questions. Number of questions. See, this is not at all our concern. I'll tell you why. This is our main concern. Because you thought you knew it. You were sure about it. You were 100% confident about it. But still, it went wrong. Why? Because if you commit similar mistakes on the day of the prelims, it is not just a mistake, it will be a blunder. One such mistake can cost you 3 years of your life. Why 3 years? This year, which you already spent in preparation, and after the prelims result, you will spend 1 more year, and your success will be delayed by at least 2 years. Understood? So, and these 2 or 3 years, whatever you spend in this preparation, there is no certification that you will get. Understood? So, you cannot even print it in your marriage cards as your qualification. So, in Karnataka, there is one tradition in marriage card. Imagine my name is Pradeep, Pradeep B. You, like they will print whatever my education qualification is, but they cannot print UPSC 3 attempts. It is not a qualification. Understood? So, it is not a qualification for you also. If you clear, it's fine. The entire world will respect you. But if not, understood? So, that if not case should not arise. Therefore, I am telling all these things to you. Okay? So, now this is our main area of worry. Why? Because if this is happening, there is some serious conceptual misunderstanding, or there is some serious conceptual gap. You don't know something, you assume it, but you actually don't know it. Okay? So, whenever there is gap, we turn towards assumptions. Correct? No? So, whenever we don't know certain things, we assume whatever is convenient to us. So, this is something which you need to correct. So, for those sure questions, wherever you went wrong, make a list of the topics. Step 2, make a list of these 2 set of topics. Wherever you went wrong, for sure, and 50-50, you should prepare the list of topics. List of topics. Okay? Wherever you went wrong. Because this is your area of concern. You think you knew it, but you went wrong there. Why you went wrong? You should know. Is it due to conceptual misunderstanding, or is it due to any gap or any assumptions that you are making? Understood? You need to do this. And also, see, this is the knowledge part. This is the knowledge part. And there is another part to the mistakes that you commit. That is behavioral part. Knowledge part is different, behavioral part is different. What is the behavioral part? See, what we tend to do, let's say the question is asking for incorrect. But what we do, they'll give certain statements, which of the following are incorrect. But by default, we will think for the correct things. So we don't even pay attention to the word incorrect. So correct or incorrect, we don't even pay attention. Sometimes ascending, descending, we don't even pay attention. Everything will sort it out in ascending way. Understood? Sometimes we don't pay attention to facts. We don't pay attention to facts. Understood? Sometimes there are 3 important C's which can derail your preparation. One is complacency. Another one is overconfidence. Another one is complicating the simple things. Question will be asking for a very simple thing, but we overthink, we do complicate it. Understood? So it is all within our behavior only. Our behavior is what makes these things happen. So we need to work on these things also. There are different ways to correct every mistake. But see, the diagnosis or curing of any disease happens after the diagnosis. See, when you go to doctor and say, sir, I have pain here, first they'll ask you to get the X-ray done. Once the X-ray is ready, they'll go through the X-ray, they'll see if there is any deformations, then they'll give you the medicine. So similarly, for increasing the score in prelims or in mains, the first thing is you need to know what part within you is forcing you to commit a mistake. Is it due to knowledge? Is it due to behavior? And if it is behavior, where you are going wrong? And if it is knowledge, which part is going wrong? So without knowing where you are committing a mistake, it is very difficult to correct yourself. Everybody says, do the test analysis. But what you need to do in the test analysis? Just reading the wrong answers, just behatting the synopsis, is it enough? Absolutely no. Understood? So UPSC will not copy paste the questions from various test series. Nowadays, the UPSC question paper, it is kind of mutually exclusive of all the test series. Understood? So in the test series, what you should be doing? You should be doing this. You should be correcting yourself. And with regard to guess, make sure you follow 5% rule. What is 5% rule? Let's say you are answering 80 questions in prelims. You are answering 80 questions in prelims. So in that case, you have to make sure the number of guess that you take is less than 5% of 80. That is less than 4 questions. 4 or less. By that way, even if you take a guess, then that will not complicate your process. Let's say if you take 10 guess, 2 right, 8 wrong, prelims gone. Understood? But if you keep it within a limited number, see, guess is nothing but your sixth sense telling you to do something absurd. If you don't know how to control your sixth sense on the day of the examination, then it can create a lot of complications for you. Because the sixth sense will get activated on the day of the examination because of your biological process called as adrenaline gush. See, normally, let's say your running speed to cover 100 meters, you will take 14 or 15 seconds. But when a dog is chasing you, you will run the same 100 meters in 12 seconds. Why? Adrenaline will push you. Similarly, in the examination hall, especially in the last 15 or 30 minutes, there will be adrenaline gush. And adrenaline will tempt you to mark those answers about which you don't have any idea also. You feel, okay, this is right, I think this is right. Out of all 3 options, this seems correct. So let's say, I'll give you some blank example. Let's say one option is 60, another option is 78, 79, 80. You think, which is the different one among here? 60. So we think all three are clustered. Maybe this is the different one, this is correct. See, you not doing these things, these irrational things are done because of the fear psychosis, because of the adrenaline that will push you to do certain things. Understood? Suddenly the sixth sense will awaken. It will make you do all these things. What is that sixth sense? It is a sense of insecurity within you. Okay, I have marked so many answers. Is it enough? Obviously, the answer will be no. Understood? So when the answer is no, adrenaline will come. I gave you 1.5 hours. You did not manage. Now let me do it for you. Adrenaline will push you to do certain things. It is pure biology. So you need to know how to control yourself in the nth moment. If you don't control yourself, if you take too many guesses, let's say you got 90 marks, you have comfortably cleared the prelims, but in the last 15 or 10 minutes, what you did, you marked a lot of answers, and 90% of it went wrong. Let's say you took 15 answers, let's say 3 or 4 correct, 11 wrong. That will pull you back into the negative bracket. So I have seen many people fail because of this. Whatever blunders they did during last 10-15 minutes. So don't do this. Okay. So step 1 is about the post-test analysis, counting how many right, how many wrong. Step 2 is about having the list of topics where you went wrong, especially with regard to these two categories. And now, while you are counting this, you need to make sure which part of it went wrong. Why you committed a mistake there? Is it due to the knowledge part or is it due to the behavioral part? Understood? Because the solution is different for both the types of mistakes. Here, you need to strengthen your concept. You need to revisit that, read it again. And here, you need to develop certain behavioral practices. Understood? So, to develop that, for example, even I used to commit these type of mistakes. And by the way, like I have given 6 UPSC mains and 3 interviews. Okay, I started my preparation in 2012, gave my first attempt in 2013. I gave 6 UPSC mains consecutively, 6 mains, and 14, 15 and 16, I gave 3 interviews. And in the first interview, I missed out by 3 marks, second interview by 5 marks, and third interview by 8 marks. So, I was also selected for CAPF interviews, ACIO interviews of Intelligence Bureau, and I have given multiple state PSC interviews as well. So, prelims has never been a problem for me so far. Okay. So, the main reason why I faltered with regard to UPSC is because of my attitude. I was having extreme regional bias, and the geopolitical circumstances was against me. There was Kaveri river crisis. I was born and brought up in Kaveri basin. So, Supreme Court had given a verdict asking Karnataka government to release Kaveri river to Tamil Nadu. Karnataka government passed one ordinance saying that we will not release the river water. So that has been a constitutional crisis. So a state passing an ordinance to overrule the judgment of the Supreme Court. It was a constitutional crisis. And the day after Karnataka state passed the ordinance, my interview was there. Okay. So they took me as the advocate of Karnataka state government in Supreme Court. They grilled me. Literally, they grilled me. And I was also not giving up. I also got emotionally aroused. Why we should leave when we don't have water to drink? So I did not take a neutral stance or a balanced stance. I became the advocate of Karnataka state government. So things did not work out for me. Okay. So like prelims wise, I never faltered, mainly because I used to adopt these things. Okay. So, and step 2, you understood, I think. Now let us move on to step 3. Step 3. So, are you enjoying the session? Are you learning something out of it? Okay. Am I giving you something that you are not familiar earlier? Please. If it is boring, if it is repetitive, then I'll change. I have a lot of other things to share with you. Are you all okay? Doing good? Fine. Let me continue. So now, step 3 is about analysis of the wrong options. Analysis of the wrong options. So in every question, there will be some right statements, there will be some wrong statements. So where the questions went wrong? Where the questions went wrong? You should know that. And step 4 is about the 50-50 questions. See, in prelims, definitely with just the sure questions, with just the 100% sure questions, you will not be able to clear prelims. Because out of 100 questions, only 30-35 questions you will be knowing for sure in best case scenario. Remaining thing will be in 50-50. So only if you convert 50-50 into correct answers, then definitely you will clear. But if you falter here, the game lies in this. The game lies in this. So now this is the most important step so far. So pay attention. See, in 50-50, you will be stuck between, let's say, two options. And there will be a reason why you will choose A over C, or you will choose C over A. There will be a reason. There will be a thought process, no? I feel so, I think so. There will be one simple assumption in your mind. So that assumption or thought process which drove you towards the decision making is what you need to know. Because this assumption or this thinking pattern can influence your decision making even in the examination hall. See, there are two things in this preparation. Few things you have to learn, and few things you need to learn how to unlearn. So these are certain tendencies which you need to unlearn, because they'll push you towards the wrong options. Understood? So sometimes we'll have assumptions. That all facts that are given by UPSC is wrong. All facts, most of it is wrong. We'll carry that assumption. So let's say in option A, there was a fact. There was one number mentioned by UPSC. So you thought there is a fact, and most of the times the facts are wrong. Therefore, I'll go with option C. Unluckily for you, A was correct. This will happen to all of us. So you need to know what is pushing you. On basis of what you are taking a call. So above 50-50 questions, you need to write above the 50-50 questions. Before making a choice, you need to write the reason why you made the choice. See, initially it will be slightly time consuming, but once if you understand your own thinking pattern, your own thought process, then it won't be very difficult for you to identify this. Understood? So knowing it is very important. And with regard to these areas, now let's say correct and incorrect. So the first thing what you should be doing, the moment you enter into the question, what you should be doing, you should underline whether it is asking for correct or incorrect. This way you can reduce at least 4 to 5 mistakes. Plain simple method. The moment you start reading the question, the first thing you should be reading is not statement 1, 2, 3. You should directly mark whether it is asking correct or incorrect. Just this method. I adopted this. And just this method simply saved me 4 to 5 questions. So this is one thing. And you need to pay attention to the facts. Because see, what UPSC will do, they'll set traps in a very simple way. Let me give you some examples. See, let's say, consider the following statements. So statement number one, Gandhi took the help of the organization of HRL during his Rowlatt Satyagraha. during his Rowlatt Satyagraha 1919. Rowlatt Satyagraha 1919. Second thing, Gandhi followed the method of civil disobedience during his Champaran Satyagraha. (1917). Rowlatt Satyagraha is considered as the first use of Satyagraha method by Gandhi in India. Statement 4. After the end of HRL, its members formed Satyagraha Sabha. Its members formed Swarajya Sabha, and Gandhi was its member. So, which of the following statements are right? Are you able to understand my handwriting? Legible enough? Okay. Go statement by statement. Statement 1. Gandhi took the help of the organization of HRL during his Rowlatt Satyagraha. Right or wrong? Wrong. Okay. Gandhi followed the method of civil disobedience during Champaran Satyagraha. Okay. Rowlatt Satyagraha was the first use of Satyagraha method by Gandhi in India. Wrong. After the end of HRL, its members formed Swarajya Sabha and Gandhi was the member of it. Wrong. So, which of the following statements are right? How many of it is right? Earlier UPSC used to ask which one is right. Now UPSC asks how many is right. That is one very important change which they have introduced. So, how many of it is right? How many of it is right? One only or two statements only? One statement only, two statement only, three statements only, all. 1, 2, 3, all. The correct answer is 3. First statement is right. Because Gandhi did not have any organization of his own. He was not an active member of INC as well. He did not have any organization of his own, and he wanted Rowlatt Satyagraha to be an all India movement. But he did not have any organization of his own to start and to keep this movement running. So he took the help of HRL's organization. Tilak had built HRL, no? Gandhi took the help of it. There is nothing wrong in taking the help if you don't have an organization of your own. Secondly, Gandhi followed the method of civil disobedience. This all of you are sure. It's a good thing. First thing is right. Third thing, Rowlatt Satyagraha was the first use of Satyagraha method by Gandhi in India. Absolutely correct. It is the first use. Because Satyagraha is a method that was devised by Gandhi in South Africa. And in India, he implemented it for the first time during Rowlatt Satyagraha. Champaran and Kheda Satyagraha, just for namesake it is Satyagraha. But the method there was different. See, in India, everything that was launched by Gandhi, everything that was led by Gandhi, we call it as Satyagraha. Understood? Out of respect for Gandhi, we call it as Satyagraha. But the element of Satyagraha was not there either in Champaran or in Kheda. It was there in Rowlatt. So what is Satyagraha? Demand for justice. Satya means justice. Agraha means demand. So Gandhi, there was a particular method in which he used to demand the justice. So first, any Satyagrahi, he has to undergo the training. And that training, you have to learn to remain peaceful and non-violent. Second thing, even when you are under lot of punishment, when you are receiving the punishment also, you need to control yourself, accept the punishment. Third thing, you should never hate your enemy. Because every human being, there is good within him. There is some wrong cause that is driving him to do unjust things. Understood? There is something wrong which is driving him to do all these wrongs. Deeper within him, there is a good human being. Through your suffering, you should accept the punishment so that through your suffering, you will change the minds and hearts of that person and making accept the justice. For that, even if they slap you on one chin, you should show the other. This was the idea of Gandhi. Satya plus Agraha. Through peace and non-violence. Accepting the punishment. Transforming the enemy through your suffering. Never hate your enemy. And this method, for the first time, was used by Gandhi during Rowlatt Satyagraha. Not in Champaran, not in Kheda. Understood? And last statement. What do you think? Is it right or wrong? Wrong. Why wrong? Which part of it is wrong? Gandhi was a member of it. Okay. This part, do you think it is right? After the HRL, its members formed Swarajya Sabha. Do you think it is right? Wrong. Second part, Gandhi was its member. That also wrong. Okay. Now, let me change the statement a little. I'll just change it a little. Gandhi was its president. Now say, is it right or wrong? Wrong. Now, the answer becomes all. Why? Because it is true that after the end of HRL, the members formed Swarajya Sabha because they wanted to continue demand for Swaraj. Secondly, Gandhi became its president. Gandhi became its president, but without becoming its member. Gandhi became its president, it's right. But Gandhi was not the member of it. Gandhi was not the member of it. So, see, now, how I try to fool you, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what made you go wrong. Shall I tell you the techniques that I used? Very simple. See, if I had just mentioned about Rowlatt Satyagraha, you would have gotten all of it correct only. But what I did, I brought Champaran Satyagraha to make you introduce you to the term Satyagraha. When I use Satyagraha here, then you understood this is not the first use. This is not the first use. Mentally, I drove you towards the wrong answer. Understood? Fine? So, when I mentioned Champaran Satyagraha 1917 purposefully, then I was conditioning you towards thinking that, okay, before Rowlatt only there was one Satyagraha. Then how can this be the first Satyagraha? So, that is what pushed you know. If you use logic, logic always will not be right. Understood? So, this is how the UPSC will try to fool you. This is how the UPSC will try to fool you. Now, let me give you one simple, another simple type of question. See, just enjoy this. Don't take it as a stress test. There is no first ranker, there is no second ranker, nobody will fail here. So, just enjoy solving it, that's all. Okay? So, what I am trying to teach you is how UPSC will try to condition your mind so that you fall into the trap. They'll set the trap, they'll push you towards the trap. Understood? Now, the statement 1. Statement 1. The Lucknow session of INC 1916 was presided by Ambika Charan Majumdar. Ambika Charan Majumdar. Statement 2. Calcutta session of INC INC 1917 was presided by Annie Besant. Annie Besant. Third one, Kanpur session of INC. Kanpur session of INC was presided by Sarojini Naidu. Okay. And last statement, INC 1925. Last statement, Annie Besant is regarded as the first women to preside INC. Which of the following statements are right? All facts, no? All facts. Now UPSC is giving you 3 column as the following. Now if I have to say, I can add third column also here. The resolution year past was, I can add the third column also. Okay. So I am not complicating it. You can tell me statement 1, is it right? You don't remember? Okay. At least can you see the name? Second one, Annie Besant, Calcutta session. Third statement, Kanpur session, Sarojini Naidu, president. Annie Besant first? Wrong. Who is the first woman? Okay. Now let's say you got the trap here. I'll erase this. Think. Look at statement 1. See what people usually do. What people usually do. Imagine only these 2 statements are given. Okay. So what people usually do? I mean these 3, let's say these 3. Now Annie Besant 1917 correct. Sarojini Naidu 1924 correct. Sorry 1925 correct. Annie Besant first women correct. They'll go with the flow, complacency. They'll not stop and pay attention to the word Indian women. See, it's okay if you like Annie Besant. She contributed to the Indian national movement. But don't give her the citizenship in your minds and hearts. That's why don't accept her as an Indian citizen. She was an Irish lady. She was very proud to be an Irish. Okay. So here Indian can be the trap. See, this is what I meant to say. You should pay attention to the facts. If you don't pay attention to the facts, if you don't underline the important keywords, then you might go wrong. And here also there is one trap which I set for you. One simple trap. That is statement 1. Though you know Annie Besant, she has some achievement, women related achievement. Statement 1 is saying there was one more. There is one more woman. So if there is one more woman, then Annie Besant cannot be the first woman. Correct, no? But the thing here is, Ambika Charan Majumdar was a male. If you pay attention to that, if you think, some people what they do, they'll counter this only because they are very confident Annie Besant is the first woman. Understood? So to prove this wrong, you will put that wrong. To prove this right, you will put that as wrong. Maybe it is wrong because I have read that Annie Besant is the first woman. So even if you overcame this Indian woman trap, you fell wrong there because this will stand as opposing statements, contradicting statements. But as long as you know that Ambika Charan Majumdar was male, if you know that, it's fine. If you don't know that, it's gone. Because to prove this, you have to prove that as wrong. Understood? This is how UPSC will set traps for you. They'll condition your mind to think in a particular direction. And if you think in that direction, then you are prone to go wrong. They'll design the statements like this only. That committee is told explicitly to push you into the traps. So psychologically, they will use a lot of these kind of simple hacks to push you. Understood? First two statements, they will set the context. They'll make you think in a certain direction. Next two statements, they'll push you into this trap. Understood? So you need to know what trick they use. Okay? So this is again another thing where they use cross-discipline trap. Okay? So geopolitics, economic recovery, everything is being tested here. Now let me show you another very important thing. See, this was about digging deeper into one topic only. This is about international relations, internal security, and slightly about geography, which location it happened. International relations, India-Bangla relationship, internal security, a military exercise, geography, which place it was held. So this is how they are going to bring together different bundles. See, nowadays UPSC is increasing the number of questions they are asking from digital economy. The traditional economic questions they have decreased. Monetary policy, fiscal policy, inflation, they have decreased. They are asking more questions from digital economy. Why digital economy? Because this is something which you should know. This is very, very important. So pay attention to this. See, whenever there is a overlap, science and technology, especially IT plus economy, this is where we call it as digital economy. Understood? So again, science and technology, in which let's say there is biotechnology, and this is society. There is an overlap. So any new vaccine with regard to the kids, understood? Any vaccination, any cure to the disease, so this will fall in the overlapping area. Understood? And now science and technology, especially space technology, along with polity. So there was something called as InSpace, which was set up to promote the private sector participating in the. Understood? So similarly, there was again science and technology and polity, especially nuclear energy aspects. There was Shanti Bill. So UPSC is very interested with regard to overlaps nowadays. Understood? So any overlapping aspect. Now see, again here, science and technology with regard to agriculture. There will be GM crops. Lot of inventions. Understood? So this is where, see, GM crops, it has been one consistent theme for almost 10 years. Because overlapping areas. UPSC is very keen, very interested to understand your interlinking abilities or interdimensional linkages. So pay attention to these kind of topics, and while studying itself, you need to think. Okay? And let me show you another thing. Okay. See, there was one statement. There was a statement on renewed Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Yojana Abhiyan. Okay. So this was something, 3 statements on implementation and funding. So what they did in 2019, which of the following schemes were introduced? 2019, which of the following schemes were introduced? There was one question. So I will show you the schemes they have given also. This is about the question. Revamped Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. So the implementation period is 5 years they have given. And objective is to develop the governance capabilities of Panchayat Raj institutions to deliver the sustainable development goals. SDG. They are connecting it to SDG. And the share of the central funding for revamped RGSA is 100% for all states and UTs. So they are saying it is wholly central sector scheme. It is only a central sector scheme where center itself will give 100%. There are very few schemes like that. There are exceptions. You should pay attention to those exceptions where center itself gives 100%. Very few schemes. And among them, RGSA was not one among it. So here the fact went wrong. And secondly, see, you have to make a list of all the schemes where center contributes 100%. Only 3 to 4 schemes are there. Only 3 to 4. Rest all states have to share the burden. Whether it is Viksit Bharat Ji Ramji or whatever schemes that are run between center and the state, there will be the center share and state share. Okay. Only few schemes, they are central sector schemes where center itself gives 100%. So you need to have a list of those exceptional schemes where center itself contributes 100%. In this case, statement 3 is wrong because here center share is 60%. 60%. It is wrong. But as long as you don't know this is there, obviously will go wrong. See, this is very less known scheme. Not many people know about this. And many magazines also did not cover this. This was covered only in PIB. Only PIB. So there are certain schemes which will come from those kind of facts also. See, here also 3 statement, 3 column match the following. So this again will test your interlinking abilities. First and second column might be matching, third column might not be matching. So this is a new trend, new challenge. And see, to solve these kind of questions within 1 minute, because there will be 120 minutes for you, and to solve 120 questions, to solve 100 questions you have 120 minutes. So now let's take out the other parts. So to mark in the OMR sheet, you will take around 10 to 15 minutes. Understood? 5 minutes to get adjusted to the examination hall, marking the attendance sheet, all those things. So roughly the equation comes down to 100 minutes and 100 questions. You have 100 questions, that's all. So 1 minute per question. So if the question is like this, can you understand and solve it within 1 minute? Is it easy? So you can make it easy for you only if you practice these kind of questions and only if you know where you are prone to go wrong with regard to these kind of questions. Getting it? So only through practice you can do this. And how to practice there are questions which are very lengthy in nature. For example, this question, 2026 prelims question. I purposefully picked it. Because see, what UPSC is testing you here, see, first they have given 2 statements. And secondly, they are saying what they are trying to imply. These 2 statements, what they are trying to say, emergence of urban life, transition of money economy. From these 2 statements, you have to derive these 2 statements, and among these 2, which are correct. They are demanding you the 3-layered thinking. If you just know this is correct, it's not enough. You should know the interlinkages between them, what it is trying to convey, and then it will go up to this fact. They are demanding 3-layered thinking. See here, it is in the form of the vertical flow, but here it is in a different way. Again, the 3-layer thinking only. Understood? So this is how they are evolving. And to understand this within 1 minute and coming up with the right answer has become a tricky one. So what you need to do in the examination hall, there will be certain questions which will be beyond your understanding. There will be at least 10 or 20 questions about which you don't have any idea. Understood? And on the day of the examination, sitting in the examination hall, all of a sudden you cannot become a Gyani about all those things. You cannot get enlightenment about certain topics. So those 10 or 20 questions, by having a glance at it itself, you know, I don't know this. Those 20, keep it aside. Now you have 80 minutes. Now you have 80 questions, 100 minutes. So at least on 10 questions or 20 questions, where you have the possibility of getting it right. Understood? These kind of questions, even if you think, even if you have 1 more minute to think, you can get it right. If you have 1 more minute to think, you can get it right, because this is from familiar area. What is required? Time to think. If you try to solve those questions which are not the part of your awareness, then you are just wasting the time. You are experimenting there. So in prelims, it is always about knowing which is the part of your awareness and what is not the part of your awareness. Some things that are not the part of your awareness, don't touch it, because there are greater possibilities that you will commit a mistake there. So as I told you, scoring more marks is not just about having more knowledge, it is about controlling yourself where it is needed. So these areas you have to control. Something which you don't know about throughout your life, suddenly in the examination hall, you will not get the awareness about it. Don't try to solve those questions. Save that 15 or 20 minutes. Because to understand whether you know the answer for it or not, you broadly need 5 or 10 seconds. Just glance through it, you will understand, okay, I don't know anything about it. Let's say, this question only, you have not read ancient and medieval, ancient question, Pali coins and all, the moment you say, you will understand, okay, I have no idea about it, I should skip this. Because even if you try and spend 5 or 10 minutes on this question, you will definitely not get the right answer. Understood? So it is about making a decision in the real time. Fine? So something not part of awareness, leave it. Come back to it later. If at all, after dealing with all questions that you are familiar with, that is the part of your awareness, if you have some quality time left, come back to this. But not in the beginning. So don't overspend or invest your time on something which you don't know. So this is one more aspect which you should know, because now the length of the prelims papers, it has increased. It has increased very, very, very much. Earlier, the prelims paper used to be 24-25 pages. Now it has increased. To read all 100 questions itself, 100 minutes is not sufficient. But you have to read, understand and mark the right answer. So that can happen only with practice. And what you need to practice, is it just about solving the mock test papers? No, it is not. See, the way we prepare for prelims, we think it is just a fill in the blanks type of questions, where if you have a knowledge about particular topic, you will answer it, or else you will not answer it. So our perspective with regard to prelims is, we prepare for prelims only with fill in the blanks kind of thoughts in the mind. So if you know this knowledge, if you who released the gold coins first in India? So Kushanas. So that is what we are prepared to. We are not prepared for these kind of questions. Understood? And that is what UPSC is trying to test you. Factual things, many people can answer. Those who are preparing for Group C, Group D also, they can answer the factual things. What UPSC is trying? They are asking you to achieve a level of depth and try to have interlinkages between the topics. So this you need to develop while studying itself. From now onwards, at least every day, try to read newspapers. Because what is the problem with us is, while we are reading the condensed material or ready-made materials, so we are not even used to reading the whole paragraphs and processing the knowledge. When you read an entire paragraph, 1 or 2 important points should come to your mind, that should be your notes, that should be the output. But what has happened? There is process notes. There is process notes, which will clearly highlight only these 2 points. So, kaha, pana, nikka, kamsa, kakani, that is what they will give in the notes. So we are just used to this. We are not used to reading the entire sentences and comprehending it and then coming out with the essence of it. What we are reading? Only the essence of it that we are directly getting. See, if you do this, if you just read just the facts, one-liners, two-liners, you will never develop that comprehending ability. What is comprehending ability? Reading one full paragraph and writing its summary in just one line. That is your comprehending ability. And without your comprehending ability, see, for developing the comprehending ability, you need to read the paragraphs and process it yourself in real time. Second thing, this will help you to increase your reading speed. While solving CSAT, you would have realized there will be very lengthy paragraph, below that there will be two questions. You feel like after reading the paragraph, when you go to question, you feel like revisiting the paragraph again. You feel like reading the paragraph again. For answering this question, you need to be double sure. So you will revisit the paragraph again. So while you are revisiting the paragraph again, then time consumed is more. Understood? That is the reason people are not able to solve to clear the CSAT examination. Why? You don't have the comprehending ability. With just one reading, you are not able to get the essence of it. See, it's not your problem. It's about the problem. Problem is in the way in which you prepare for the examination. It's in the path. It's in the process. So what you need to do? Read the paragraphs. One article per day from newspaper, whether from editorial or not. It's up to you. Whichever article you are familiar with, read it. And after reading one article, one paragraph, try to give subheadings to it. Try to give the subheading to it. Okay, this is related to society. It is talking about decreasing the IMR, infant mortality rate. So like that, try to give one line essence as subheading to it. So this will increase two things. One, your comprehending ability. Secondly, your reading speed. See, to complete the paper, these two things are very essential. Because to make the decision, if you have to read this question 3 or 4 times, then that itself will consume you 2 to 3 minutes. But what is the time that you have? 1 minute. So how to remember everything in mind within 1 minute and solve it? It comes only through practice. What is the practice that is needed? It is not actually reading the condensed notes or the processed notes, the shortcut notes. It is by reading the NCERTs, the raw NCERTs or any newspaper. So newspapers are immensely going to help you. Don't read it from just from the examination point of view. Just for comprehending ability or increasing the reading speed, enhancing the reading speed, you need to read it. One article, if you read it in a structured, in a directed way, it's more than enough. See, it won't take you more than 30 minutes because you are done with the basics. You are done with the basics. What you need to do? Read every paragraph and try to give a subheading to it. Try to give subheading. So similarly, while reading the RC part in the CSAT also, after reading every paragraph, give a subheading to it. So that you need not come back again, read that paragraph again, mark it. So similarly here also, while reading itself, you can pay attention to the facts, you can remember it in the mind and you can derive this. Understood? All will happen in the mind. So you don't have to read it again and again. So how to reach that ability, how to get that ability? See, it is a skill. And skill can be learned only through practice. So how to practice? Read at least one article per day. Any newspaper, any English newspaper, read it. Understood? Whether with regard to state PCS or with regard to UPSC, this is one very important skill which you need to develop. Because paper is getting lengthier with every passing year. So what you need to do? You need to improve your reading speed. You need to improve your comprehending ability. Because there will be 3 to 4 line statements. Every statement 3 to 4 line. By the time you come down to 4th line of the same statement, you will forget what you read in the first 2 lines. This has become a problem because we have trained our mind only to remember short facts. So this is something which you need to learn while unlearning something else. So this is one very important ability which you need to develop. Okay? And see, now this is a new area what UPSC is trying to test. Wonderful question this is. It is about Sagarmala and we all know. So this is to enhance our presence in the Indian Ocean region. So cultural ties, defense, it has got multiple angles, Sagarmala. So they also say this is a counter to string of pearls policy of China. This is also the part of diamond necklace policy. So it has got overarching things. But see, It is to achieve port-led economic growth, to achieve like the greater economic growth and all. Second one, success of Sagarmala program is reflected in significant growth to temperative growth features. Sagarmala 2 aims to position India as a global maritime innovation hub. Okay, so now they are asking the interlinkages between these statements. These statements are interlinked. To what extent they are interlinked? The statement 3, statement 2 validate the effectiveness of the strategies envisioned in the statement. Now you need to know the interlinkage between the statement 1 and 2. Understood? And you have to process in real time. Now you cannot go back and read the 2 statements again. After reading this statement, you cannot go back and read those 2 statements again. It will be foolishness. It will be time consuming. Understood? Now, when you go to statement 3, so this is a right statement. See, all 3 statements might be right. But the thing is, what is the relationship between them? What is the linkage between them? Understood? How will you, I mean, are these dots connected to each other? That is what you need to know. So, while studying things, don't study it in bits and pieces. While studying itself, you need to think, interlink. Understood? See, any constitutional amendment bill, what is the kind of majority that is required? Usually 2/3. 2/3, no? 2/3. So, what is the highest majority that is required by state legislative assembly and for what purpose? State legislative assembly, any state legislative assembly, what is the highest majority that is required and for what purpose? And if you answer this, I will gift you something. The only instance where state legislative assembly will pass a bill with 2/3 majority is for demanding the abolition or creation of state legislative assembly. It is a resolution which they will pass to the center, demanding them to set up or to abolish the state legislative council. Article 169. Understood? So, they will give first statement about the 2/3 majority instances that is used by the center. Second statement, they will say state will also pass a resolution using 2/3 majority for which purposes. So, they will give for removal of governor, for removal of state PSC chief. So, they will give multiple statements. What you need to know? Center for removal of like say president or removing the Supreme Court judge, they need to pass it by the special majority. You know that. Okay? You all know about the effective majority also for removal of the presiding officers. Now, UPSC in a similar way, they will ask the special majority required by the state government for which all processes. Removal of governor, removal of state PSC chief, removal of state election commissioner. So, like that, they will give options. Without having the knowledge, you will falter there. So, when you read about the special majority provisions of the parliament, you should also be thinking about what are the special majority provisions of the state legislature as well. Understood? So, that what do you say, the stepwise approach. If parliament is having special majority on something, what are the instances state will also use the special majority? Obviously, state cannot pass a resolution for removal of governor or SCC. It has to be done by the parliament itself. Understood? But under the pressure of the examination, these 3 functionaries will be at the state level, no? Governor, state election commissioner. So, what we will think? Maybe state only will pass the resolution. What's wrong in passing the resolution? Will become the advocate of the state government. Under pressure, we'll do crazy things. We are forced to do crazy things. That is when we will go wrong. Understood? So, while reading itself, if you prepare from this direction, okay, center I know, what about state? Just 1 minute of thought process can change the direction of your thinking. Understood? So, now this is one more thing, and see, there is nothing contradiction. Statement 1, see, is there anything negative here in any of the 3 statements? Nothing negative here. So, statement 3 is saying statement 1 contradicts statement 3. So there is nothing, there is no negative wording here. So there is nothing contradicting statement 1 or statement 3. So using that common sense also you can get it right. But before that, you need to understand this. Understood? So why I am showing this is not to teach you the tricks like this. So there is nothing negative here. So if there is something is contradicting something, then it is wrong. It's not about that. It's about understanding the nature of the question and the relationship between them. So this type of questions will be asked more even in your state PSC and also in the upcoming UPSC examination, this kind of questions. So this is what will make you really think. Understood? This is what UPSC is demanding. See, earlier there used to be fill in the blanks type of questions. That questions have come down drastically. Now the new trend is this. See, fill in the blanks, no, within like, let's say 10 seconds you can make a decision. One line of question, 4 options. If you know, fine. If you don't know, you will continue to the next question. You will not waste much time on this. But to read this question itself, how much time it will take you? Understood? These are all the time consuming things. One statement, fill in the blank type of questions, definitely it will not consume much time. Even if you don't also, you will not be at loss. But this question, after reading it, after investing so much of time, if you don't know it, then it is a loss to you. Loss is not always in terms of marks, but it will also in terms of time and energy invested. Understood? So now, I was telling you about step 3, right? I mean step 4. Now let me tell you about the step 5. The step 5. See, till now you understood which all areas you went wrong and how to correct it. Now let me tell you about something called as temporal analysis. First, let me set the context for you. See, while solving the mock papers, what you need to do? You need to divide the given 120 minutes into 3 trimesters of 40 minutes each. 40 minutes each. See, in the beginning 40 minutes, in the first 40 minutes, see what will happen? What will happen? The stress or the examination pressure and the focus level. See, you'll be fresh to the examination. Therefore, the focus level will also be very high. You are fresh, you are full of energy, you are full of josh. Okay? Let's say before the examination, you also did 5 minutes of meditation, Kapalbhati, pranayama, everything. So you are completely focused. I suggest you to do it because you will enter the examination all around 9 AM, no? 30 minutes instead of looking around the walls, looking at your friends, looking at the examiner, the invigilator, look within yourself. Understood? So do that breathing exercises, 5 or 10 minutes of deep breathing. So that will help you to remain calm under pressure also. So that just that 10 or 15 minutes of your breathing exercise can help you to reduce the stress levels, can help you to boost your focus levels, and this will change the game for you, at least with regard to 2 or 3 questions. And 2 or 3 questions means 3 right answers, 6 marks. 3 wrong answers, prelims gone sometimes. So stress level will also be very high. So what happens in the first 40 minutes? Each will cancel out each other. You will not get too many negatives here because your focus level is also very high. Though the stress is also high, you will somehow be able to manage it because focus level is high. Going into the second 40 minutes, focus level will decrease. This is a common human limitation. After 30-40 minutes, you will not be able to completely focus on something. You lose the focus. But the pressure will remain the same. Pressure will remain the same. So what will happen? Now, the negatives will increase because your focus levels are decreased. Your glucose levels or oxygen levels, it will decrease. So, you will not be able to make rational judgments. You will commit some mistakes, unforced mistakes. See, if you keep track of time, no, I can bet you this is where you will be committing a lot of mistakes. Understood? This is where you will be committing the mistakes. See, I have told this, shared this with a lot of aspirants, I have done it myself, and this is the key area where you need to make sure that your focus level remain constant. And there are certain tricks for that as well. See, very simple, not time consuming and all, very simple. But you need to inculcate. Inculcation does not happen directly in the examination hall, it happens from the time of your preparation as well. And in the last 40 minutes, you all know, last 30 minutes bell will ring, no? That is when your pressure will go out of the roof, and because of adrenaline, you will gain back your focus. And adrenaline will not just boost your focus, it will also make you adventurous. A person who can run on street can jump the compounds now. That is what adrenaline can do to you. It will push you over the roof. So this is when the sixth sense, seventh sense, everything will get activated. And about the questions which you have no idea about, you will feel this is right, this is right, this is right. The gut feeling, this is right, this is right. So you will end up marking. See, when you mark the OMR sheet, when you look at it, no, if there are too many blanks, you feel like, oh, if I leave too many blanks, maybe I will not get one more chance. So let me fill this. Let me fill these gaps. See, and people know, they also do. Let's say, for example, first 3 questions, they get A as the answer. Fourth question, there is a confusion between A and C. While marking the OMR sheet, they will see A already 3 is there. C, at least UPSC will think about C also, no? Minority, reservation. So what we will think? Mark C. This is common tendency. We will do it more under pressure. And this is with the assumption that all 3 that you have marked is 100% sure. But the problem is, the mistakes will be here only. Here the answer will be A only. But thinking that all 3 is absolutely right, you forced yourself to mark C and ended up getting a wrong answer. Understood? This is what happens to under pressure. See, normal time, when we are not under pressure, we will not do such illogical things. We will not do that absurd things. But under pressure, we will do that. Why? This will make us do. So how to control yourself in last 30 minutes, that is very challenging. And it comes only with practice. Last 30 minutes, tell yourself that until and unless, see what I used to do, any question, before marking any answer on the OMR sheet, I used to put dots here. Until and unless there are 2 dots besides every statement or besides every question, I never used to mark it. Because before marking any answer, I need to read it twice. First time detailed way, second time at least a glance, so that if there are any mistakes in my approach. So until and unless there are 2 dots, I will never mark it. This was my principle. So I reduce these kind of absurd things. And I used to tell myself that in this kind of situation, I'll never mark C. You are marking C with the assumption that all 3 that you marked earlier is correct. That might not be right. So whatever is the logical thing, see, treat every question as a new challenge, not the continued version of the previous questions. Understood? Every question is a new challenge. So even if all the answer is A, don't worry. Even if all the answer is C, don't worry. Every question is a new challenge. It is not linked to the previous question. So it is only happening in our mind. As I told you, 6th and 7th sense, it is making us think. And when does this 6th and 7th sense unnecessarily get activated? Under pressure. So what you need to do, you need to do this analysis to understand where you are going wrong. See, around the first hour, 10 to 15 minutes before first hour, 10 to minutes after the first hour, you will commit a lot of mistakes. This is the first area where you will get a lot of mistakes. And the last 30 minutes is again where you will commit a lot of mistakes. Why? As I told you, these kind of nonsensical things. So how to control yourself? do one simple exercise. See, these are the practical things. Okay. See, after every 30-40 minutes, keep your pen aside, have a sip of water, take 5 deep breaths, at least 5 deep breaths. Close your eyes. Do not think about any question. Do not think about any answer. Do not think how many you are, how much time is left and all. Just calm down, have some deep breaths, have a sip of water, and if possible, mix some glucose with that water. Little nimbu, salt, or little glucose powder, mix it, because that is very much needed to re-energize your mind, to activate your thinking capacity. Because see, when you are sitting in the examination hall, it will consume lot of energy. It is highly intensive mental process. Understood? See, out of the food that you consume, no, almost 50 to 60% is consumed by your brain, because this is a powerhouse that will keep the rest of the things active. So, under the in the examination hall, you'll be sitting idle. What is the only part that will be using all the energy? Here. So, if this is not active, here you cannot mark the right answer. So, you have to do, like, you have to calm your mind to, through deep breaths and taking 1 or 2 sips of water. Don't over drink the water also, because that can create an urgency, unwanted urgency in the examination hall. 1 or 2 sips. And if in your state, if they allow you to take some chocolates, have one chocolate also. While chewing the chocolate, continue to solve the questions. In our state, they don't allow. They think even in chocolate, you can keep a chip. Understood? Just like in 500, 2000 rupees notes, there was a chip, no? That can help. Fine. So, you don't know. Telangana, is that not famous? 2000 rupees notes, there was a chip, it seems, microchip, that used to directly convey to the satellites about the black money that was kept. This is a famous joke that I am telling you. You have not heard of it. Okay, maybe we will need time to connect with each other. You'll understand. Okay. So, this is one thing. So, have some mental breaks after every 30 or 40 minutes. See, don't consider this as waste of time. This is the time where you spend in a strategic way to regain your focus and to re-energize yourself. See, there is one simple story, maybe it is also there in your folklore. So, there used to be two wood choppers. One person used to chop from morning till evening, another person used to take breaks in between. So, towards the end of the day, the person who worked morning till evening non-stop, he saw the number of wood that he has chopped is less than the person who took the breaks. So, the reason was that person, while taking the break, he was sharpening his axe. So, this is about not wasting the time, it is about sharpening your focus. So, you need to do that. Understood? So, there is limitations for our body, man. You should understand the limitation and you should stop it. You should give it a break when it is needed. And it is not a break actually you are taking, you are sharpening your focus. That is one more thing. Okay? Do all these 5 steps of analysis after every test you solve. See, initially it will be time consuming. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, for doing that, it will be time consuming. But if you do it for 10 tests, 10 tests, and after every test, if you write down the summary of the mistakes that you did, you can see the transformation within 5 or 10 tests only. You can see your accuracy improving, your mistakes reducing, your focus increasing. You can see a lot of positives within 10 tests. And within 10 tests, you need not do it explicitly, it will get ingrained in your mind. And for every problem that you are facing, you will try to come up with a solution. See, the first thing is people come and ask, sir, I commit a lot of mistakes in prelims. I don't know how to improvise. See, nobody can tell you the solution. Because without pinpointing the problem, how can anybody give the solution? See, if a pipe is leaking, you need to know where it is leaking first to plug it. So, if marks are leaking in prelims, if negatives are increasing, you need to know where, what is the reason, where it is leaking, which subject, which topic. Is it due to temporal analysis? Is it due to behavioral issue? Or is it due to knowledge issue? First, you need to know that to plug it. So, self-analysis is the most important part for you to clear prelims. What is self-analysis? The 5 steps that I gave you. The way you approach the question paper is self-analysis. And without having this knowledge, without knowing this, you will not be able to plug your loopholes and increase your marks in the prelims. See, remember, it is not always the game of knowledge. Knowledge is the most essential part of it. But if you don't know how to your knowledge, how to use your knowledge, how to put your knowledge to use in a better way in the real time within those 2 hours, ultimately attending all these classes, reading so many NCERT books, solving so many tests, it is of no use. And these mock tests, you should solve it with a specific intent. In this mock test, it is not about marks. It is about knowing myself, where I am committing the mistakes. Okay? You should, mock tests are a mirror to your preparation. You should know where you are committing the mistakes and you should work towards improvising that. Understood? Improving yourself as an aspirant. So this is improvement is a constant process. It is a incremental process and it is always a learning curve. You cannot reach the top of the learning curve all of a sudden. It is a gradual process. It takes time, but if you give it, if you discontinue this after 3 or 4 tests, don't expect any positive things out of it. If you do it consistently till the end, definitely you can see the success. And not only me, many of my mentors in Bangalore, they have benefited out of this. They have went on, there are like prelims has become a biggest hurdle. There was one student, her name was Kalpashri. She got rank in 22. Okay. So for 4 attempts, she could not clear the prelims. I sat with her, did all these things, taught her all these things, and then she got a rank. Rank 299. She is an IAS in Uttar Pradesh. Similar was the case with another aspirant. He was from Andhra only. His name is Sahit Kana, Chiranjeevi Sahit Kanala. He was my mentee. He was very good with regard to answer writing and all, but unable to clear prelims. Prelims was the biggest hurdle for him. So we sat together, did lot of things, and he's an IAS now. Probably he'll get the Telangana cadre itself. So it has worked immensely for a lot of aspirants to reach Labasna. So prelims is the biggest hurdles nowadays. So how to clear prelims? It is through a systematic way, not by luck. So these are all the systematic way. And let me show you few more observations of mine with regard to the recent prelims. So this, I think you have understood, okay, what they are trying to ask. 3 statements, interlinkages between the 3 statements, and then the answer. Okay, this is one thing. And see, traditional format, it was like which one of the statements were correct? Which of these following statements were correct? Now, how many? Understood? So that is the problem now. You need to make sure which one, exactly which statements are right, which statements are wrong. Without having the idea about the right and wrong of all the statements, you will not be able to arrive at the answer. Earlier I told you, no, like I gave you one example, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 3 only, all. So 3 by default is correct. There were loopholes which you could exploit, but now UPSC is not leaving any loopholes. Okay, so that is the reason. This time it is again 26, it is again less. It will be in 70s itself. Why? The nature of the question paper. Okay, so now old architecture, as I told you, one topic they used to take and they used to dig deeper into one topic. Okay, let's say for example, the Act of 1919. Act of 1919 introduced diarchy. Within diarchy, there were transferred subject, reserved subjects. Reserved subjects were under control of governor and his executive council. Governor had the veto on the transferred subjects. One topic, diarchy, to the depth. But now it is changing. One statement from 1919, another statement from 1935, and another statement from the present constitution. That is how they are trying to link. Understood? So you need to develop these linkages. Fine? See, and then this is what you should do. That is the exercise we did, no, with regard to 3 simple topics we did. So you need to do that with almost everything that you study. And whatever is the overlapping part, you need to pay special attention to it. Any application of science, understood? It is very important. Science with regard to normal lives, science with regard to health, science with regard to agriculture, science with regard to nuclear energy. Understood? Any polity, any act with regard to nuclear energy or space, that deserves important. Why? Because overlapping. Whenever there is overlap, that is an area of interest for UPSC. So pay attention, special attention to these facts. Understood? And then, now, you know, which explains what? That is a new pattern of question. It is not just about knowing the right and wrong of these statements. You should all know the relationship between these statements. Whether this explains this, whether this is the reason for this statement and assertions. So, broadly, UPSC is not just asking you the factual knowledge, it is testing your depth of understanding, the analytical thinking abilities. Okay, and then, so this is the example. Sumet pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf and the natural oil shipment to Europe. Sumet pipeline connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. So one is, it's about energy. Second one is about geography, world mapping. Understood? So if you just know about Sumet pipeline, it is not enough. If you just know about this Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea in the map, so the countries surrounding the Red Sea, countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, it is not enough. So you need to know what is the role of Sumet pipeline, which sea it connects and all. So this is very much essential, and that is what UPSC is trying to ask from you. So now it is precision count. Understood? Earlier they used to give statement, one only, two only, one and two, neither. Now you need to know the exact count. Okay? So precision count format, and how many trap? How many of them are exactly matched? Which one to how many? So you need to keep track of this. And also 3 statement match the following. That's a very important thing. Okay? And then 2026 evolution. So you need to arrive at a conclusion. So statement 1 explains statement 2, and statement 3 is an effect of it, is an outcome of it. So the relationship between the statements, the conclusion you need to arrive. So let's say, for example, I'll give you one simple question. One simple question. See, partition of Bengal is the part of divide and rule strategy of British. Partition of Bengal. Second statement. Swadeshi movement is regarded as the first mass movement in Indian freedom struggle. Third statement. Surat split showcased the ideological rifts among the nationalists within INC. This is statement 1, 2, 3. Now UPSC says statement 1 is the reason or the cause for statement 2, and statement 3 is the outcome of statement 2. This is how they are going to ask. So now if you try to bring this statement, substitute here in the equation, it will take a lot of time for you. Is it possible in the real time? No. Okay. So while reading it itself, you should bring it down to one word. That's all. While reading it itself, bring it down to its short form. Summarize it. As I told you, one paragraph, one line. Here one line, 1 or 2 words you need to summarize. Now you need not read the entire sentence. Just by having a glance of it, you can arrive at the answer. Now just tell me whether the statement is right. whether this is right. Correct. This part is wrong. Surat split is not an outcome of Swadeshi movement. Okay. And now let's say if statement 3 is something else. Let's say statement 3 is something else. Partition of Bengal was annulled in 1911. Now the statement is correct. Because of the pressure that was created by the Swadeshi movement, ultimately they had to cancel the partition of Bengal. Understood? So, while studying itself, you need to have a graph. You need to have a chart. So, what connects what? So, let's say partition of Bengal. It led to unity among INC leaders, moderates and extremists. So, together they started Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi movement. And within Swadeshi movement, self-reliance, economic nationalism, means boycott of foreign goods, promoting the Swadeshi goods, cultural nationalism, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata, all these things. And then nationalistic education, National Council of Education, national schools, national colleges, all these things started. The impact of it. So how it came to an end? How it came to an end? Mainly Surat split. It ended because of Surat split, because there was a division. And what was the main outcome of this? The outcome is partition of Bengal cancelled in 1911. And there is one more reason for this. Not only Surat split, there is Hindu-Muslim divide, which was mainly because of 1906 formation of Muslim League. Understood? So the interlinkages, especially while studying history and polity, you need to develop this. If you develop this, if you look at as the continuation of one thing, then definitely you can answer the question with greater accuracy in shorter span of time. Understood? So now there is one important difference between Swadeshi movement and HRL. Any idea what it is? Important difference. Self-government. Very good. And then Swadeshi movement mainly against one important thing, partition of Bengal. And using that as an excuse, we try to do a lot of things. And there is one more very important difference. One is you told the objective wise. Objective wise, there is a difference. With regard to the nature of the movement, there is another difference. See, HRL Tilak itself told it is a limited movement. And during HRL, see, during Swadeshi movement, there was a lot of religious references. Shivaji festival, Ganesha festival, Durga Puja, Holy Dip in Ganga, tying Rakis. But during HRL, it was a secular movement. Why HRL became a secular movement? Because of the learnings from the mistakes of Swadeshi movement. Because when the nationalists referred to Hindu religious practices more and more, Britishers used that as an excuse to divide the Indian society on the lines of religion. So Tilak realized, okay, if you use the practices of one religion, Britishers can use to prevent the participation of Muslim masses in the national movement. So HRL became a secular movement. Understood? There was no religious reference there. So similarly, you need to understand the linkages between them. So Gandhi has led three important mass movements, NCM, CDM and Quit India movement. What is the differences between them? What is the causes for them? What is the outcome of them? What is the features of them? So what is the relationship? You need to understand all those things. See, without these interlinkages, you will not be able to achieve much progress or get more right answers in the examination. Now let me show you one more very important thing. I hope like this is not boring for you. Okay. So now see, moderates, they all demanded a lot of legislative reforms. So what was the legislative reforms of moderates? What did they demand? First thing, they demanded expansion of legislature. Expansion of legislature. Because as per the Indian Council Act 1861, the strength of the legislature was 6 to 12. For India, 6 to 12, it is very small. Entire India having 6 to 12 representatives, very small it is. So they told expand the legislature. Second thing, increase Indian representation. Among 6 to 12, there were up to 3 Indians, up to 3. It can be 0 also, it can be 1 also, 2 also, best case scenario 3 also. So moderates told increase the Indian representation, because in American Revolution there was something called as no taxation without representation. Understood? So there was a great person called as Thomas Alva Edison, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Paine, yeah, Thomas Paine. So Thomas Paine popularized this particular statement, no taxation without representation. So in India also, moderates, they demanded, see, since you collect tax from us, also give us the representation. And third thing, they demanded the introduction of elections in India. See, in Western countries, they practice democracy, where there is a festival of democracy called as election. So they wanted elections in India also. And fourthly, see, they collect the taxes from us, but Indians don't have any control over budget. So they demanded the budgetary reforms, like they wanted to discuss the budget, ask questions on how the budget is, the money is being spent. If they wanted any changes, they wanted to pass the resolutions demanding the changes in the budget. Lastly, they wanted to vote on the budget. And another very important thing what they demanded was an Indian representation in Viceroy's Executive Council, because Viceroy's Executive Council was the topmost executive body in India and there was no Indian in that. So they told, this is India after all, take some Indians into that also. So as a response to this, what Britishers did, they enacted something called as Indian Council Act 1892. So in this act, earlier what was the representation? 6 to 12 members. It was increased to 10 to 16 members. 10 to 16. They told half of them will be official, another half of them will be non-official. Second point, they told now we will allow Indians to be the non-official members. So 10 to 16, it is a varying number. So there can be 10 members also, there can be 11 also, 12 also, 15 also, 16 also. So if there are 16 members, 8 will be official, 8 will be non-official. And they told Indians can be the non-official members. And they also told that there will be indirect elections for only some was not mentioned. Term election was not mentioned in the act. Okay. So nextly, with regard to this, they allowed Indians to discuss the budget. Indians are good at discussion, they know that. So they told, okay, you discuss. It is your nature to discuss something, discuss. Second thing, they told, okay, you can ask the question, but not the supplementary question. You will ask a question, I will give some answer. And based on that answer, you cannot ask a follow-up question. That is supplementary question. Now let's say you will ask, sir, what is the difference between official and non-official member? I will say I had dosa for breakfast. Is that the answer for your question? Now definitely what you will say, sir, what I am asking and what you are telling? No follow-up question. Whatever answer I give, you have to accept. So because of no supplementary question, there is no accountability on me. Whatever question you ask, why there is so much less allocation to education? Why you are giving so much money to military? I will say I had burger before coming here. That is the answer. No accountability. Understood? And resolution, voting, Indian representation, they did not allow. So now Indians kept on demanding the reforms. So what happened? Act of 1909, Indian Council Act of 1909. So now the numbers increased to 60, 28 official, 32 non-official. Now they told Indians can continue to be the non-official members. Earlier, how many Indians could be there? 5 to 8. In worst case scenario, 5, best case scenario, 8. 5 to 8 Indians could be there. Now, up to 32 Indians can be there. And for the first time, now also they told indirect elections. But for the first time, the word election was used. See, here also election, but the word election not used. Now, the word election used. And with regard to elections, they also introduced separate electorates for Muslims and landlords. And in 1919, it was expanded to 6 Christians, Anglo-Indians, Europeans. See, this is how it will evolve. This is how it will evolve. Understood? Earlier, there was only one house, 60 members. Later, in 1919, there will be bicameralism at center. Upper house, 145. Sorry, upper house, 60. Lower house, 145. So they told Indians, we can get elected. For the first time, direct election. See, no word election, direct election. Understood? This evolution is what you need to keep track of. Understood? So here, with regard to this, they'll allow us to ask the question also. Even supplementary question also they will allow. They'll allow us to pass resolution also and vote on separate items in the budget. And for the first time, one Indian will be taken into VEC, SP Sinha. Understood? You need to see this evolution. You need to identify the patterns. If you read this separately and everything separately, you will not have the holistic knowledge. Understood? So, what I try to provide to all of you is you need to have a structured approach, a thematic approach when it comes to reading things. If you read it in isolation, consider this as a separate pieces of knowledge. In exam, you will not be able to stitch it together and derive the answer. While reading itself, your approach needs to change. Understood? So, this is one more thing which I wanted to convey to you. And see, again, this you might have, see, while reading itself, you might have read this. But suddenly in the examination hall, if they stitch together 3 different things, then it might be difficult for you to do it in the real time. See, start question, unstart question, you might have read it in the polity. Start question, unstart question. Unstart question, written answer. Start question, oral answer. So, whenever there is oral answer, there can be supplementary questions. Common sense. So, if you are able to arrive at this equation, just like we did it here, if you are able to arrive at an equation like this, then it is easy for you to derive the answer. If not, you have to think through every question, understand the relationship between them, then coming at the answer will be difficult for you. Understood? Got it? So, this is one more thing. And okay, there is one last thing. The statement and the assertion questions, they are increasing. And there is few simple things which you need to understand. That is, for statement and assertion reasoning things, this is the pattern in which you need to study. Only this can solve, this can help you to answer that effectively without much thought process. Understood? What is the cause of it? What is the effect of something? So, this approach is something that is very much required. And see, I still have an attempt. Like I still have an age, but I have exhausted my attempts. I still have age. So I'm not some outdated uncle who will teach the same old things again and again without updating myself. Understood? So not white, not dyed also. Okay. So you can trust us because I keep evolving. I keep studying the question papers. I keep understanding the trends. I keep updating myself. And those so-called big faculties, like, they don't have time because a lot of factors will be there. They don't update themselves. They deliver the same old things. Okay, Swadeshi movement happened in 1905, 7th August is started. It is also celebrated on National Anthem Day. Old things. Earlier they used to ask these kind of questions. It was true. But now exam has evolved. So are you evolving according to the needs of the examination? That is the question. So while preparing itself, you need to develop this approach. It cannot be developed separately. Along the classes, these demands of the question, the new emerging demands of the question has to be aligned. So that alignment is what will save a lot of time for you, what will save a lot of attempts for you, and that is what is exactly required for the demands of the examination in the recent days. So having said all these things, I wish you all the very best for your preparation. So before taking your next step, try to understand the previous question papers of UPSC, and before stepping into the examination hall, try to know where you are committing the mistakes so that you can be the refined version of yourself before you step into the examination hall. I told you, no, 22 carat to 24 carat. That is the objective. Okay. So thank you all for your time and patience. I hope I did not waste your time. Okay. So thank you, and you have a gift. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Feel free. Any questions? Yeah, please. Mm. Mm. See, the first thing you need to know that how to take out the essence of PIB. Monthly summary, they will only realize. I mean, they will only release. Take that. Try to summarize it yourself. It will consume some time. But in the process of summarizing it, you'll have to read every topic at least twice or thrice. So you would have internalized everything. You'll also get the broader understanding of those things. Understood? So don't read it in isolation in bits and pieces. See, current affairs, I used to do the same thing, man. Like back, I mean, when I started the preparation, there were no concept of monthly magazines, vision, current affairs, and all. So I was a voracious reader. I used to read 4 newspapers a day, and I used to make notes for myself. Now, see, I'll tell you, I used to read Hindu, Indian Express, Business Standard, and Live Mint. So that is not practical now because there was no sources back then. I had to prepare the source myself. I have to read everything, condense, and see. Let me tell you why you should study 4 newspapers in the first place. Hindu, leftist orientation. Indian Express, balanced orientation. Business Standard, polity and economy, they'll give very good articles. And even same with the Live Mint also. With regard to policy analysis and economy, they'll give very good articles. So these are the 2 important currently evolving topics, no? Polity and economy. So for having a balanced perspective, I used to read these newspapers. Understood? But nowadays it is not needed. You need not have to read so many newspapers, make notes from everything. So you read a newspaper diligently, follow one newspaper consistently. Okay. So whatever is relevant for the examination, like whatever news topic you come across, try to connect it. Okay, it is related to GS3 environment. So what might be the environmental implications of this on health? Okay. So any environmental pollution, it will have health hazards. So recently, during last December and all, the PM 2.5 concentration in Delhi went over 1000. What is the health hazards linked to it? What is the policy measures that are taken by the government? So how it can be tackled? So have a integrated approach towards all these things. If you just look at it, PM 2.5 it is there in air quality index, and there is something called as ambient air quality index. What is the difference between them? There are certain indicators that are only specific to ambient air quality index. So what is the application of, see, there are two air quality index, no? What is the difference of application? Why there are two different indicators? Where this is used, where that is used? So that is what you need to think. When you look at two similar things, so why they exist separately? So what is the advantage of one over the other? Where this is used, where that is used? Okay. So how both these things are measured? So these are certain things that should come to your mind. Moment you look at something, don't assume it. Question it. Why, how, what, all these things. So similarly, while reading the monthly compilation of PIB, try to get the context of it. Why this is in news? What this act is trying to address? Okay. So what are its environmental or societal implications? What is the policy implication? If government is bringing a scheme, there will be an economic implication on the government. And they'll also try to have a social outcome out of it. So what is the outcome they are trying to achieve? In terms of growth, in terms of like improvement in IMR, in terms of having a better public health, better public infrastructure. So what is the outcome they are trying to achieve through it? So just try to have a holistic perspective of it. Don't study it in bits and pieces. Don't try to memorize whatever is there. Instead, think on your own. Stand there for a minute. Think on your own. Just try to have a broader perspective of it. Rather than digesting whatever is given there and going forward to the next summary, think there. Stand there and think. Give your time. Involve yourself. Submerge into the syllabus. Stand there. Have all these things. Connect everything. Then move forward. So, realign your preparation itself. So, while summarizing the monthly magazines and all, you will not get this. Because that is already the processed food. In processed food, you cannot like super process it. And super processed food is of no use. Understood? Maggie, does it give you any nutritions? It will just fill your stomach. Similarly, these magazines, they are like Maggie. Understood? So, out of super processed food, you cannot learn anything. It doesn't give you what is needed for this examination. See, what UPSC is trying to convey to you through all these things is that you have to come out of this conventional approach. See, we have become relaxed for our own convenience. We are not able to step out of our comfort zone. What we do, we don't follow the current affairs, we don't read the newspapers, we don't follow PIB. So 3 or 4 months before examination, we take out all the magazines, we try to brush it up, try to glance through it, sometimes memorize it, go to the examination hall expecting the examiner to ask the same things that we read in the magazine. That conventional approach is not working. UPSC has evolved a system which requires you to, the questions are derived from current affairs, true, but the deeper layers, it is not there in any magazine. Understood? You can get the hold of it only through your thought process, and magazine doesn't help you in that way. So, read newspapers every day. One article, try to summarize in the way that I told you. PIB, monthly compilations, take it and try to summarize things on your own. Don't depend on someone else summarizing it using AI and all. You summarize it on your own, and while summarizing it, don't do it mechanically, do it like an aspirant. Stand, think, interlink, then proceed. Because, see, I'll also tell you one more simple thing. See, this is how can we make our answers analytical rather than descriptive? This is something related to mains. We are sticking to prelims. Okay. Now, see, there are a lot of schemes with regard to girl child. So, what I suggest you is, have an approach. Don't study it in isolation. So, one scheme is not separate from the other scheme. So, what I suggest you, see, how I used to study was, I used to have the life cycle approach. So, for a girl child, when she is in the womb, what is the problem? Or what are the schemes that are schemes and policies related to the girl child in the womb? There is something called as PCPNDT scheme. And then there is something called as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. There is something called as PM Poshan Abhiyan. So, where the nutritious food will be given to the pregnant women. And there is something called as PM Matritva Sahayog Abhiyan. And once a girl child is born, she is in the form of infant. So, PM Janani Shishu Suraksha Yojana. Understood? So later she'll reach the, what do you say? She'll become a kid. She'll start going to the school. There again, mission Indradhanush, vaccination, helping her survival. Understood? Later, she will reach the adolescent stage. In adolescent stage, there is a scheme called as Sabla. She will reach the youth stage. In youth stage, what are the schemes for her? Understood? So in this way, you don't look at things in isolation. Understood? See, this is just a skeleton. You need to fill the details into this. But if you have a broader perspective of this, see now this Janani Shishu Suraksha Yojana, this is something that overlaps through both the stages. Understood? So if you know it overlaps through both the stages, then that's the job. That's the important piece of knowledge which is required for you. Understood? So have a broader perspective, not only with regard to this, even with regard to agriculture, pre-cultivation, during cultivation, during harvesting, post-harvest. So different life cycles. Understood? So there is interconnection between a lot of things. Not everything should be looked at in isolation. If you look at in isolation, it will create a lot of confusions, lot of nonsense for you. Understood? In examination hall, you cannot stitch it together. There is no much time also, there is no much patience also. So how you can achieve it? While preparing itself, you need to align your preparation on those lines. Your thought process should be aligned. So that is how you can prepare holistically. Okay? So this will help you not only, see earlier, I think you might have seen this. Students who clear mains appear in the, who clear prelims appear in the mains, they clear the prelims with ease. They clear prelims with ease. Why? Because while preparing for mains, they look at things in depth. They try to have this interdimensional linkages. Understood? That is what will help them to clear the upcoming prelims with ease. Understood? If you want to ace with ease, then you need to have the deeper analytical knowledge of it. So now what UPSC is trying to convey to you is, even for prelims, the mains like preparation is exactly needed. So they are asking you to have an integrated approach. Earlier what we used to do, for prelims, we need to prepare in a different direction. For mains, there used to be a different approach. Now the demand of the examination is as such, you need to have an integrated approach with regard to both stages of examination. Understood? So now prelims, you cannot depend on memorizing some facts, fill in the blanks kind of knowledge, and don't expect yourself to clear prelims with that type of knowledge. So for both the stages of the examination, the integrated approach is needed. Okay? So any other things? So starting from Jan also, see, it's not about when you start doing the test series, it's about how you approach the test series. So are you just testing your knowledge, or are you working for the refinement? These are the two things. If you are just trying to validate your knowledge, okay, I have studied this topic, so let me answer the test from this topic, how many I get right, how many I get wrong. So revising the wrong topics going forward, that's one approach. So doing the behavioral analysis approach, internal analysis, that should be the ideal approach of test series. It's not about when you started, it's about how you consider the test series to be. Do you want it to be just the test of your knowledge, or do you want it to be the reflection of your preparation? That depends on it. Okay? So start it whenever you are comfortable with. But thing is, don't just take it as the validation of your content. So use it from a broader perspective to know where you are going wrong, what are the weaknesses within your preparation, and how to overcome it. So use that as a mirror for your preparation. Okay? So, and never run behind the marks. This is one thing. Because I know there will be some healthy competition within the aspirant community. So someone getting more marks, someone getting less marks. Never be obsessed with the marks. Okay? It's all about the process. So how many mistakes of your own you identified in this test? How many mistakes were you able to overcome in the next test? Understood? It's all about improvising, self-improvisation. See, the only thing that is in your hand is your own preparation. Your friend's preparation is not in your hand, what type of question paper they are going to set is not in your hand. The only thing that is in your hand is your efforts, your preparation. So that is the only thing which you need to worry about. Understood? So anything else?
How we eliminate the elimination tricks.
Eliminate the elimination tricks only. Don't depend on it. Any dependency, no, psychologically it will hurt you when it doesn't apply there. I showed you one or two. There are some cases, but don't expect them to be in 2027. Because what I saw was UPSC 2023, they improvised. 2024, they eliminated the most elimination tricks. 2025, 2026, very unique kind of papers. 2027 also, they are going to improvise. So whatever easy things that you could guess in this paper, I think they are going to improvise on that. So do not step into the examination hall expecting your tricks or techniques to work. So it's very good if it applies, if you are able to apply some of them. Understood? But it might not help also. In that case, you should not be disheartened. So I learned so many things with so much of analysis. So I did all the analysis of last 3 years paper. I came up with this tricks after a lot of analysis. Now they are only not working. You should not be disheartened. Understood? Don't expect it to work. If it works, well and good, it's bonus for you. Understood? You should research. That's the reason I told you which statements are wrong, what is the trap used there, be aware of it. So if the similar trap is set for you, then well and good, you are ahead of others. If different type of trap is set, then nobody can help. It is the same thing for everyone. Understood? So doing analysis can put you in an advantageous position, but don't expect it in the examination. Understood? Don't depend on it. This dependency syndrome, no, that will cause a lot of dissonance in the examination hall. Understood? Don't depend on any of these techniques or tricks. If it works, well and good, not an issue. If it doesn't work also, fine. We'll take the exam as it is. Okay? CSAT?
CSAT, I was scoring 65.
Okay.
Last 2 years, it was nearly like I was missing from 4 marks in TS paper, before year 5 marks. It is always important not in a safe score like 110 plus. It could be in a safe side, like I can start my mains preparation right after the prelims exam grade. I'm always in the border thinking whether I clear or not, and then go. So I want to be in the fast.
For that, you need to do this analysis. The steps that I told you, that will definitely help you to reach a comfort zone. Because see, if you let me know your score range, no, I'll not know what mistakes you are committing. So that which areas you are committing the mistakes, that will come out only during the self-analysis part. If you ask me the right question, I can give you the right answer. If you ask me the specific problem, I can provide you the specific solution. That is how it works. So start doing the analysis, and if you have any problem, if you need any inputs, you can talk to me on this Telegram ID, and I'll also update my thoughts in this channel of mine. You can also follow that. Okay? So if you are facing any specific problem, you need to let me know your specific problem. Sir, a lot of misconceptions, like correct and incorrect, I am committing some mistakes. So I am getting carried away by the complacency. So specific questions, specific answers. So my prelims scores are not increasing. I will ask you to study harder, that's all. So the conversions, that will work on the aspects that I told you. So for you, the step 3 and 4 is very important, and also step 5 that I told you, the temporal analysis, do that. And with regard to CSAT, the CSAT master is about to come. You can talk to him.
I used to score last 4
Management type of questions were asked. Fine. So should PYQ analysis start from NCRT? NCRT PYQs are very simple in nature. So like you cannot start your real analysis there. Start with the PYQs, proceed to the mock tests. Okay? Take the standard questions. Don't take the substandard questions where there will be outdated type of questions. Okay? So once you have a question paper in your hand, you can make a sense of it, whether it is up to the standard or up to the trend of the examination and all. Only solve such things. For sake of comfort or convenience, don't take up the old pattern of questions and like even if you score 170, 180 in that test out of 200, then it is of no use. Okay. So step out of your comfort zone. Don't always expect the things to be convenient to you. So UPSC, like it is about making you uncomfortable. It can ask inconvenient questions. Okay. So unprecedented type of questions, it will be there. Expect the unexpected. Definitely you are going to clear, because that shock factor will be not there. If you step into the examination hall, that expecting him to surprise you, then that shock factor will not be there. So that itself will give you the initial advantage. Okay. So going forward into the examination, you need to have the right mindset. Prelims is all about mindset. Okay. How to use every second in that 120 minutes to reach your goal. Okay. So putting every second in that 120 minutes to good use, it happens only through practice. And practice during mock test while studying everything. So align everything in that direction. Okay. So thank you all. See you all again. Okay. ಓಕೆ ವಿಶ್ವನಾಥ್ ಪಾಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಈಚೆ ನೋಡೋರಾ? ಈಚೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನೋಡಿದಾರಾ? ಓಕೆ.
I should get a gift also.
I'll get it to you. Which one do you know her?
I used to book.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಒಂದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. So good name? Pratyusha. Okay, I think you called Shaman sir.
Yes.
After the prelims. Okay, Shaman sir was telling about you. Fine.
I want to be in the safe score of 110 plus.
ದಯಾನಂದ ಸಾಗರ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು.
ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ?
ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ.
ನಮಗೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ ವಿಶ್ವ?
ನಮ್ದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ತೆಲುಗು ಓಕೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ,
ತೆಲುಗು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ.
ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಸರ್. ಕೋವಿಡ್
Okay.
ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವಾಗ
Okay.
ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಚಸ್ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವ್ರ ಫಾದರ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕರ್ನೂಲ್, ಇವ್ರದೆಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ
ರಾಯಲಸೀಮಾ.
ರಾಯಲಸೀಮಾ, ಲೈಕ್ ಅವ್ರ ಫಾದರ್ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಎಸ್ ಪಿ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಅಕ್ಕ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್
ಸರ್.
ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಅಕ್ಕ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಕ್ಕ ಬಾಬಾ ಇಬ್ರು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್. ಅವ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬಂದ್ವಿ. IPM ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ 2023 ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ 2023. ಅವಾಗ ನಮ್ದು ಪೀಕ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಮೆಂಟರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ನೀವು ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಟೈಮ್ ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಫಿಟ್ ಬಿಡಿ, ಅದು ಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವಾಗಿಂದ ನೀವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 2 years 3 years ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು 100% ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಏನು ಒಂಥರ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ವೆರಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ನಮ್ದು ಎವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಳಾಗಿದ್ದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2024 23 ಎಲ್ಲ ಶಶಾಂಕ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಅವಾಗಿಂದ ಇದೆ.